This is my playground. Peace and quiet. Nobody bothers you.
Rich Felosi has been hiking for years. He's been up and down most trails in Connecticut and New England.
I've hiked pretty much every trail in Chatfield Hollow, the Chatfield Trail. I've hiked the Cockaponset Forest, all over Sleeping Giant, pretty much anywhere you can get some miles.
Now he's on the biggest hike of his life. He left Bear Mountain in Salisbury for a 32-day, 340-mile journey to the top of Mount Washington. Felosi is hiking in memory of his niece, Holly. She passed away a little more than a year ago. She died just 3 days before her 3rd birthday from Tay-Sachs disease.
Holly was awesome.
Tay-Sachs is a rare disease that causes a progressive deterioration of nerve cells and of mental and physical abilities.
When she hit about a year and a half, she started to lose her eyesight, and you'd hold her, and she'd be listening, so her ears were really sensitive, so you had to be really quiet. And you'd walk outside, and be perfectly still day, and the wind would blow, and her hair would move, and she'd get all excited and let out a little wail and start to, a little cry because she got a little scared, but she loved being outside. So that's kind of why I'm doing this.
Felosi is taking this long walk through the woods to try and raise money and awareness for the National Tay-Sachs and Allied Diseases Association.
She wanted to be outside, and she meant a lot to us, so I figured what better way than to go out and hike. One of the days is just 5 miles of straight up. It's like 4,000 feet.
So why a hike from Connecticut to New Hampshire? Felosi's brother-in-law, Holly's dad, is a meteorologist, and his dream job is to work at the top of Mount Washington.
So I thought of how could I do something outside, because Holly loved being outside, that would connect both families. And I said, you know what, we've hiked from New York to the top of Connecticut to Massachusetts, so I'll just continue on. I'll go from Connecticut to the top of Mount Washington and kind of bring it full circle. It's going to be a lot of this in the next 5 weeks.
To go on a 32-day hike, Felosi needed a lot of help. He's worked as a firefighter and paramedic at the North Haven Fire Department for 5 years, and his co-workers stepped up to cover his shifts and even donate to the cause.
I work with awesome people. Everybody, I have guys covering shifts for me so I can do my trip, and they've all been really, really supportive. So this is my backpacking gear. Every ounce counts when you're in the woods, so you try to keep it as light as you can. Luxury item is a pillow. Here's my sleeping bag. This is my food, just a backpacker's pantry here. This is my stove here. These are my maps here. So these are all my trail maps. I'm basically going from here all the way to the top.
When you go into the woods for a little more than a month, you got to be prepared. Felosi has jam-packed his backpack with about 27 pounds of gear. He's got everything.
So this right here is a solar charger. So I'll hang it off the back of my bag. That way I can charge my iPhone and my GPS. And if I get myself in trouble, I can just hit this and they'll come and get me. They're tadpoles. It's a vernal pool. That's cool.
While on his hike, Felosi will be posting status updates on various social media sites, and the goal is to try and raise $10,000.
Man, it is nice outside.
Over the 32 days and 340 miles, Felosi will have a lot of time to think. What would his niece think of this trip?
I think she would think it was pretty amazing. I think she'd want to come with me.